Cardona, for being with us today. I appreciate the chance that we had to chat yesterday, and appreciated your answers at that point. I want to associate myself with a number of the things that were said by Senator Paul. That's not something I say very frequently, but he made a very, very good point. I've got pictures of my 8 granddaughters among some grandsons behind me. They shouldn't be competing with people who are physiologically in an entirely different category. And I think boys should be competing with boys and girls should be competing with boys on the athletic field. I'm going to turn instead to the stimulus program that the president has proposed. In December, we added funding for K through 12 of $67 billion was added to what was previously put in the CARES Act, a total of $67 billion between the two, rather. And now the president is proposing that we add $130 billion on top of that. And in looking at the areas that are proposed, he's proposing that we hire 10% more teachers in America. Now, we have about 3.5 million educators in the country, so this would be some 350,000 additional educators. And he's proposing that we build new classrooms for these teachers. I don't presume that it's your plan or their plan to fire these teachers after COVID is over. Is that right?
Correct, Senator.
Well, so then we're basically permanently adding 350,000 teachers and building a lot more classrooms. So I presume this is associated with saying that the smaller classroom size is going to get better education for our kids. But I haven't seen any unbiased studies other than from the teachers union that suggest that smaller classroom size correlates in any way with student performance, obviously within some normal parameters. But as you look at the NAEP exams, for instance, that compare the various states, the states at the very top have the same size classrooms at the states as the states at the very bottom. Is that correct? Do you understand that the same way I do?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess our connection today is not doing real well. I'm just pointing out that based upon the national assessment of student performance, it shows that states at the very top of performance compared to those at the very bottom performance have about the same size classroom size. So just adding more classrooms doesn't seem to correlate with better student performance. Is that your perception also?
Thank you for the question, Senator. So the question about classroom size, I think there are numerous studies over time that have shown that classroom size isn't necessarily the most important indicator. However, as a former teacher, a principal, and in my experience as an educator, I can tell you, when I have 15 students in front of me versus 28 students in front of me, I'm able to give more specialized attention to those 15 students. And I think, in the NAEP studies that you reference, there are other factors that it would be unfair to compare those two, because it could be that in the communities that have greater class size, they also have additional resources that maybe the others don't.
I would tend to look at studies that were done, for instance, by the McKinsey Institute that looks at performance of students around the world and the impact of classroom size. I noted when I served as governor of Massachusetts, we compared 152 different school districts based on classroom size and student performance, and there was no relationship whatsoever. The key is making sure we hire the best teachers. Starting wages for teachers, I think, or salaries for teachers, absolutely critical. And I would strongly encourage you to look at the $170 billion the administration is proposing to add to K through 12 for COVID relief, and suggest that we put in place things that will really make a difference, like giving all of our kids access to electronics, computers, iPads, and so forth, broadband capacity. These things, I think, will have a far greater impact. I would underscore that I'm concerned that the funding that we're describing is something which the teachers union is very happy to receive, but which will not result in actual improvement in the scores and the performance of our young people. I'd also like to associate myself with the comments that have made with regards to technical education that Senator Kaine indicated and Senator Hassan. I think it's critical that we level the playing field and we encourage young people to get a technical education if that's where their orientation is, and that we support them in every way we possibly can. Thank you, Doctor. Good to be with you.
Thank you, Senator. I look forward to working with you if confirmed and learning more with you and your colleagues to make sure we're doing everything we can for all of our students. Thank you.
Thank you.